We've been talking about New Year's resolutions this morning.
We have.
Fresh year. Particularly, we're talking about the ones that we perhaps struggle to keep.
Maybe that's all of them.
Maybe that is all of them. Because according to the experts, around a quarter of us barely make a week before giving up on our New Year goals.
Yeah, let's talk about it with Sarah Quinn, President of the Australian Psychological Society. Sarah, good morning to you. Did you make one?
Good morning. Well, I'd like to say that I did, but I haven't yet had a chance. So more time with family is always a nice one for me, given we've got the busy time a year ahead, especially with what's going on in the culture at the minute. So
I know we're already into the year, Sarah, but if people are still yet to make a resolution and wanting to make one, how do you kind of get started in deciding?
I love what you said when we first started this conversation is that they're not for everyone. And I think that New Year's resolutions can motivate a focus for some of us, but we do know that they should be realistic. They need to be sustainable and they need to be meaningful for us, and we need to frame our setbacks as learning opportunities.
What do you think it says, Sarah, about us as a society that so many resolutions centre around health and well-being?
I actually think it's quite nice for psychologists, actually. I think that this reflects an increased awareness. I think it's no surprise now that many people are setting New Year's resolutions that are around their health and wellbeing goals. We also think of the festive season can, for many, actually mean a period of overconsumption and indulgence. So the new year actually can provide a set point, a focal point or a turning point where we can actually set those goals that we are perhaps thinking about during that period of overconsumption, that we know that next year will be different for us.
What are some of the factors that contribute to people not being able to keep their resolutions?
I think, as I mentioned, it's about being realistic. I think we need to commit to something that we know requires some sustainable effort to achieve, but not something so hard that it involves a schedule that will quickly burn out and lose interest. That is what we see a lot of. And I think there's a sense of let's do less of something, which what we would call an avoidance-oriented goal, rather than doing more of something. So, for example, this approach-oriented goal would say let's eat more vegetables rather than avoiding something. So let's eat less sweet treats. It's far more realistic and actually far more successful if you choose to eat more vegetables than give up something that you actually love.
That's very interesting, Sarah, given what people are writing to us. We're going to go through some of what our viewers have been sharing with us. What about money resolutions? I mean, there's so many variables through the year. I mean, if you make a resolution to save $150 a week or a month or whatever, it's very difficult, that one, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a very difficult resolution to have at the minute, given the current cost of living pressures. And I think what we know is that they have a significant negative impact on our Australians' mental health. So this financial stress can actually cause a significant host of problems that we see, both physical, psychological, and the prolonged stress can have a significant impact. And we actually are seeing for many people are actually turning to psychologists for the first time to help with these financial goals that they might have. We would say that psychologist services are actually essential to help those people through the cost of living crisis. Psychologists provide support and guidance to help manage their stress, but also to help cope with the anxiety and depression, and develop more healthy coping mechanisms throughout this period of stress. So thank you for asking that question.
I think one of the key things is if you do fail, to be kind to yourself, that failure is often part of the process, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. I love that you've said that. I think it's interesting, isn't it? Setbacks are inevitable, and in fact we would say that overcoming them is crucial to bouncing back and achieving your goals. So I think it's important to notice and adapt your thinking, to see these setbacks as an opportunity to learn and adapt. In fact, we know that individuals who view setbacks as learning opportunities are actually more likely to persist and succeed in achieving their goals, which is actually essential for overcoming challenges as New Year's resolutions. So enlisting the support of a psychologist can also be a valuable way to develop these skills and strategies. I always like to plan for them if I'm setting a particular goal for myself. So almost imagine what are those things that are going to get in the way, because we're making these resolutions usually at a time when we're not at work, or we're in a context where we don't have the day-to-day stressors. So we don't really factor in that life does get in the way of those beautiful goals that we set for ourselves.
In light of that, Sarah, I wondered whether we should treat them more like a bucket list, not something that has to be stuck to rigidly, but that you can tick off achievements through the year.
Yeah, that sense of achievement is a really nice thing to have along the way. And I think what you're highlighting there is that it's really important for us to set specific and challenging goals because it's a powerful motivator for many of us. What it does do is actually it provides a really nice mental target, which helps us keep focused and motivated throughout the year. So, but I want to keep in mind though that setting an unrealistic achievement can actually be demotivating. So let's ensure that that bucket list is achievable.